Right now, if your eyes are getting heavy, your brain has already started shutting itself down without asking you first. You didn't choose this moment, your body did. Somewhere behind your forehead, a tiny cluster of cells no bigger than a grain of rice just gave the order. It's called a suprachiasmatic nucleus, and researchers at Harvard Medical School's Division of Sleep Medicine call it your body's master clock. It tracks the light hitting your eyes all day, and the second that light fades, it starts a countdown. This happens every single night of your life, whether you notice it or not. So what actually happens between the moment you feel drowsy and the moment you're gone? Let's walk through it. First, your body temperature drops. Not by much, less than 1 degree, but enough to tell every organ in your body to stand down for the night. Your hands and feet actually warm up as blood rushes to your skin, releasing heat and cooling your core. That's why kicking a foot out from under the blanket feels so good. Your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. At the same time, a hormone called melatonin floods your bloodstream. Melatonin doesn't knock you out. Think of it more like a bouncer at a club telling your brain it's time and clearing space for sleep to walk in. Levels start rising about 2 hours before you usually feel tired, and they keep building until they peak in the middle of the night. Your heart rate starts slowing too. 10, sometimes 20 beats a minute, drops right off the clock. Your blood pressure follows. Your breathing gets slower and deeper. Everything in your body is powering down floor by floor, like a building switching off its lights one office at a time. And your brain? Your brain is doing something even stranger. Sleep scientist Matthew Walker, who runs the Center for Human Sleep Science at UC Berkeley, has spent decades recording what brain waves do in these final waking minutes. Right before sleep, your brain waves shift from fast, busy beta waves, the pattern of full alert thinking, into slower alpha waves. That's the daydreamy, half-here feeling you get staring at a wall before bed. You're not asleep yet, but you're not fully here either. Then something happens that most people never notice because by definition, you're not conscious for it. You cross a line. There's no ceremony, no fade to black. One moment you're aware you're lying in bed, and the next moment you're not, and you have zero memory of the transition itself. Walker's research points to this crossover from waking into what's called stage 1 sleep as one of the hardest moments in all of neuroscience to actually catch, because the very act of noticing it happen would wake you back up. Your alpha waves slow down even further into something called theta waves. Your eyes, still moving slowly a moment ago, roll gently under your eyelids and then go still. Time gets slippery here. Ask someone to wake you 3 minutes into stage 1 sleep, and you'll swear you were never asleep at all. Your own brain lies to you about how much of the night you've already crossed into. Here's where it gets interesting. Have you ever been drifting off, completely relaxed, and then suddenly jolted awake by the feeling that you're falling? That's called a hypnic jerk, and it's one of the strangest things your body does every single night, most of the time so briefly you never remember it. Here's what's actually happening. As you fall into stage 1 sleep, your brain sends a signal down your spinal cord that switches off most of your muscle tone. Your body is essentially going limp on purpose. But every so often, your brain misreads that sudden loss of muscle tension as an actual fall, the same signal it would get if you were tipping backward off a ledge. So it fires an emergency reflex, a full-body flinch, to catch you before you hit a ground that was never there. Some sleep researchers connect this reflex back to our tree-dwelling primate ancestors, whose survival depended on catching themselves before a fall from a branch. If that link holds up, then a wiring pattern built for surviving in the treetops is still firing off in your body tonight, in a bed, under a blanket, millions of years and 0 trees later. You're not broken when this happens. You're not anxious. Your ancient nervous system just double-checked that you weren't about to fall out of a tree. After that, if you don't wake up, your brain drops you into stage 2 sleep. This is where you spend nearly half the night, and it's busier than you'd think. your brain starts firing off little bursts of electrical activity called sleep spindles, short half-second pulses that researchers believe are your brain locking new memories into long-term storage, essentially filing away everything that happened to you that day. Then comes deep sleep, sometimes called slow-wave sleep, where your brain waves slow down to their widest, most rolling pattern of the night. This is when your body does its repair work. Growth hormone gets released, muscle tissue rebuilds, your immune system ramps up production of the cells it needs to fight off whatever you were exposed to that day. Your brain even runs its own cleaning cycle down here. Fluid washes through the narrow spaces between your brain cells, physically flushing out waste proteins that built up while you were awake and thinking all day. Skip deep sleep long enough, and that waste starts to pile up faster than your brain can clear it. Why does any of this matter to you tomorrow morning? Because skip this stage and you don't just feel tired. You show up with a weaker immune system and slower healing muscles, and you never even knew that's what you were missing. About 90 minutes after you first fell asleep, something almost science fiction happens. Your eyes start darting back and forth under your closed eyelids, rapidly, as if you're watching something. This is REM sleep, and it was first identified in 1953 by two researchers at the Chicago University, Eugene Aserinsky and Nathaniel Kleitman, who noticed the strange eye movements while monitoring sleeping children in a lab. They'd stumbled onto the stage of sleep where nearly all of your dreaming happens. During REM, your brain is almost as active as it is while you're awake, but your body can't move. Your brain deliberately paralyzes your arms and legs during this stage, so you don't physically act out whatever you're dreaming. Your heart rate speeds back up, your breathing turns irregular, and somewhere in there, your mind is replaying, remixing, and making sense of your entire day. There's a reason it feels like your emotions get sorted out overnight. Walker's lab has recorded stress chemicals like noradrenaline dropping to their lowest levels of the entire day during REM. Your brain gets to relive the hard moments from your day, but without the chemical spike that made them feel unbearable in the moment. Some researchers call it overnight therapy. You wake up still remembering what happened, you just don't feel it with the same teeth. You'll cycle through these stages, light sleep, deep sleep, REM, roughly about 90 minutes, 4 or 5 times a night, without ever knowing you're doing it. So here's the twist most people never think about. You assume falling asleep is a single moment, a light switch flipping off. It's not. It's an hour-long relay race happening in the dark, with your temperature, your hormones, your heart rate, and your brain waves all handing off to each other in a precise, choreographed sequence, and you are conscious for almost none of it. Which means every single night, your body pulls off something more complicated than most surgeries entirely without your permission, and entirely without you saying thank you. So think about what happens the next time you're lying in bed scrolling on your phone at midnight. That light hitting your eyes tells your suprachiasmatic nucleus the sun is still up, which delays the melatonin release that was supposed to have already been underway. You're not just staying up later, you're actively telling your body's master clock to reschedule a process that took millions of years to fine-tune. Same thing with that late afternoon coffee. Caffeine blocks a molecule called adenosine, the chemical that's been quietly building up in your brain all day to make you feel sleepy in the first place. Block it too late, and your body reaches for the wind down switch at 11 p.m. and finds someone's already holding it shut. Your body was never trying to knock you out. It was trying to walk you gently through a doorway. The tossing, the turning, the checking the clock at 1 a.m., that's often not your body failing. That's your body trying to run its ancient sequence while you keep interrupting the very first step. Do you want to actually help it instead of fighting it? Dim the lights an hour before bed. Put the phone down. Let your room cool down a few degrees. You're not doing yourself a favor by trying harder to fall asleep. You're doing yourself a favor by getting out of the way and letting a process older than language do what it already knows how to do. The moment you stop fighting your way to sleep and let your body run the sequence it's been running before you were born, that's the moment you were already gone.